Hello, I'm Sihang. I'm from Delft University of Technology, and now I'm presenting our work, Improving Worker Engagement through Conversational Microtask Crowdsourcing. And this is a joint work with Ujwal Gadiraju and Alessandro Bozzon. First of all, the background of our study. As we all know that the traditional user interface for microtask crowdsourcing is the web. So all the questions of the task are shown on the web page, which makes it pretty like an exam. Then online works can get tired and bored very easily. Therefore, in previous studies, the conversational agent was introduced to the realm of microtask crowdsourcing. The conversational agent for microtasking can show all the essential elements of microtask, but in a dialogue-based way. So as we can see from the graph of comparison, by conversing with the conversational agent, the worker can get all the essential information such as task title, time limit, and task instructions and questions. And of course, workers can provide their answers in a conversational way as well. Well, and the researchers have shown the evidence that a conversational agent has the capability of giving workers high satisfaction, and it has similar execution time and similar output quality in comparison with the traditional web interface. However, several questions remain unexplored, like how can the conversational interface affect worker engagement or cognitive task load, and what if we apply a conversational style to the agent, and how can the conversational style affect the results? So our research questions of these studies are, the first one is, to what extent can conversational agents improve the worker engagement in microtask crowdsourcing? And the second question is, how do conversational agents with different conversational styles affect the performance of workers and their cognitive task load while completing tasks? So to address these research questions, we first introduce conversational styles into our study. We want to apply different conversational styles on our conversational agent. According to the previous work of linguistic theories, the conversational styles can be classified into two categories, namely high involvement and high considerateness. So high involvement style basically means the speaker wants to keep close with the others, and high considerateness style means that the speaker wants to keep distance with the others. And we create criteria to assign these two conversational styles to the agent. And this is how we apply conversational styles on the conversational agents. Now that we explain how the conversational microtasking works. So the workflow of conversational microtasking follows 4 steps. The first step is task instructions. The conversational interface in this step is initialized with opening greetings like hi, hello, just to greet with workers, and then the worker can respond by selecting one out of 2 options. Why do we do this? I will explain it later. And then the conversational agent will tell the worker about the basic information of the task, such as task title, the time limit, and the task instructions. So the goal of this step is twofold. The first goal is to make sure that users are familiar with the conversational interface, and the second goal is to estimate the conversational style of the workers. Why do we do this? Because previous studies has shown that style alignment, which means aligning conversational style of the agent with the style of the worker, can somehow have some positive effects on the output. So we, that worker, respond to the agent by selecting some options, and then we use this way to estimate the conversational style. So this is our first step. greetings and task instructions. Then the second step is questions and the answers. In this step, the agent presents the actual tasks to the worker, and the worker will answer to the agent. The conversational interface supports two modes of input from workers, namely free text and multiple choices. So if a task is a free text task, such as capture recognition, information finding, the worker must type the answer in the text area of the conversational interface. But when a task includes multiple choices answers, such as image classification, the worker can either type the answer as free text or simply click the corresponding UI button. And then it comes to the third step, breaks. So after worker has answered 5 mandatory questions, workers can stop answering and submit the answers whenever they want. So if they choose to continue, the conversational agent will give workers optional questions to answers, and there are 45 optional questions in total, and we use the number of answered optional questions to measure the worker retention. And if worker keep doing task, and the conversational interface will give breaks to the worker to relieve them. And during the break, the conversational agent sends a meme for amusement. That is something like this. And then it comes to the final step, answer review and submission. So when a worker decides to stop task execution, or there's no more pending questions, that means worker has answered all the mandatory questions and optional questions. The conversational agent will send answer review to the workers. Then the worker can decide to go back to edit their answers or proceed to submission. And after the worker submit the answers, a task token will be given to the worker, and the worker can use these to claim for their reward. And this is how the conversational microtasking works. Then we design experiments to answer our research questions. As for task types, we choose 2 most common input types, which are free text and multiple choices, and 2 most common data types, text-based tasks and image-based tasks, which result in 4 task types, which are information finding, capture recognition, sentiment analysis, and image classification. In terms of the user interfaces, we use web interface and the conversational interface. Note that all the functions that the conversational interface has, we mentioned before, such as optional questions, breaks, and memes, the web interface has all of them as well. So these 2 interfaces are equivalent, and it's fair to compare them. What's more, there are 3 conditions of conversational interface, which corresponds to 3 conversational styles: high involvement, high considerateness, and style alignment. And then it results in 4 interfaces: web interface, conversational interface with high involvement style, conversational interface with considerateness style, and interface with style alignment. So finally, we have 4 task types, we have 4 interfaces, so we have 16 conditions, and we recruited 50 unique workers for each condition. Then we have 800 workers in total. And we ask workers to do the microtasks first, and then we give them a post-task survey, which contains the UES SF form and NASA TLX form, which are used to measure user engagement and the cognitive task load, respectively. And then the evaluation. In terms of the distribution of conversational styles, we found that workers tend to show different conversational styles due to the effect of task complexity. So for instance, when a task is more difficult, workers tend to show considerateness style, and when the task is easier, workers tend to show involvement style. As for the output quality, we found that the conversational interfaces have no significant impact on worker accuracies in comparison to the traditional web interface. Similarly, we did not find any significant difference in work accuracies across different conversational styles, and the results of output quality is aligned with the previous study. And as for the worker engagement, we measured in two ways. The first way is work retention, which is measured by the number of answered optional questions, and the second way is using the UESSF form to get the score. In terms of the worker retention, we found that the conversational interfaces lead to significantly higher worker retention in multiple choice tasks compared to the web interface. And the interesting thing is an involvement style, a conversational interface with high involvement style has significantly higher worker retention across all task types compared to the web interface. Then as for the perceived user engagement and the cognitive task load, which are UESSF and NASA TLX, we found that the input types and data types can significantly affect the UESSF score, while the interface and the conversational styles have no significant impact on that. And we found no significant difference in NASA TLX score for measuring cognitive task load across different interfaces. So, to have an overview of our results, we found that the conversational interface can significantly improve the worker engagement. As for the output quality and cognitive task load, we found no significant differences. Then what can we learn from these results? First of all, giving a conversational agent a high involvement style can generally improve the worker retention in conversational microtask crowdsourcing. So if you want to use a conversational agent to help you execute the task, you can use a high involvement style. Some people might ask, the conversational agent cannot support too many tasks. Well, our proposed conversational interface is purely HTML based. So the elements used in traditional web interface can be easily ported into our conversational interface. Then theoretically, the conversational interface can support all the task types that the traditional web can do. And by adopting conversational interfaces, task requesters can improve worker engagement, allowing workers to complete more work and earn more money. So we believe this can help foster good faith between requesters and workers, and it is good for their long-term relationship. So our study has very important implications in crowdsourcing marketplaces. As some of you might noticed that the focus of this work is the conversational style of the agent. It's not the conversational style of the worker, but we still use a very simple and naive way to estimate the conversational style in this study. We found this is very interesting to study the conversational style of the worker, so we did study deeper on that. And if you are also interested in that, you can see our CSCW work estimating conversational styles in Conversational Microtask Crowdsourcing. The focus of that work will be the conversational style of the workers. And this is our work. Thank you for listening.